Xiao. The research study topics for our group is: does television viewing induce aggression among adolescents? Firstly, I will start with the research background. According to Allen and Adolescents in 2017, aggression can be taken into many forms. It can be ranged from minor acts like name-calling and pushing to serious acts like hitting and kicking, until severe acts like shooting and killing. The researchers have shown that short periods of exposure to the violent media is enough to increase the aggressive behavior, thoughts and emotions of an individual. Besides, the immediate behavior will occur when they get too much violent information from the televisions. Furthermore, the violent media will increase the feeling of hostility and decrease the emotional response to the portrayal of injury and violence of an individual. The research question for the research study is: how immediate the aggressive behavior can be learned through violence movies, and what will an individual act after watching violent movies? The hypothesis that we have stated for this research study is: the adolescents from the experimental group who watch the violent movies will have higher intention to have aggressive behavior, thoughts and emotions than the adolescents from the control group who did not watch the violent movies.
For our problem statement, according to Spears, Gonzalez, and Susbecker, television programming and advertisements contain plenty of things, messages which may promote harmful behaviors such as aggressive and risk-taking behaviors that can lead to both intentional and unintentional injury. Public health and child development professionals are increasingly convinced by converging scientific findings linking media violence exposure to increased aggression. In 2018, almost one-third of adolescents worldwide have recently experienced bullying. According to data released for the first time by the UNESCO Institute for Statistics. Why is adolescent aggression on the rise? Early and prolonged exposure to violent content is linked to risk for antisocial behavior and decreased prosocial behavior. The original purpose of television programming was to provide a form of entertainment for adolescents. However, studies have found a potential link between television viewing and criminal behavior. This result flowing from this line of research indicate that individuals who watch more television are significantly more likely to engage in various forms of criminal behavior. To some extent, this affects the aggressiveness of adolescents. This might affect the future development of the adolescents. So the present study aims to raise awareness of the importance of television programming and advertisements to the society. Society can pay more attention on whether television viewing induces aggression among adolescents. Hello everyone, my name is Wai Xuan. Before the experiment starts, we assume that the people in the room watching the violent movie, after watching, they longed for the violence itself and yearned for bad emotions and violent behaviors, such as imitating the plot of the movie against other persecution. Some people may actually cause behavior that hurt others, while others may even be psychologically affected, but they have suppressed their violent behavior based on their own moral code. At the same time, for those who watch the peace movie, their emotions should be relatively happy. And even some people are a little violent before watch the peace movie. After watching the movies, they may be more calm and kind to people.
Hello, Dr. Xiao and everyone. So today I'm going to present the methods of the study, which includes participants, instruments, and procedures. The participants that are involved in this study are a total of 50 participants that were selected randomly in Sekolah Menengah Seri Bintang Selatan. Their age range were between 13 to 18 years old, and the equal number of males and females were selected. So the instruments that we use is the aggression questionnaire. There are 29 statements that are included in this questionnaire, and it is a 5-point scale based. So next, which is the procedure. So first we will get the permission from the university to conduct the study, and then next we recruited the school with a letter regarding this study and follow up with them with phone calls. And then the participants will read and sign the consent form, which means they are voluntarily participate this study. So there are 50 students that involved in this study, so they are divided into two groups equally, which will be 25 in each group: experimental group and control group. So first they will conduct a pre-test with them, which is they will do the aggression questionnaire, and then the experimental group will undergo intervention, which they will watch the aggression movie, while the control group did not undergo any of the intervention. And then next, both groups will conduct a post-test, which they will do the aggression questionnaire again, and then data will collected and analyzed with statistical analysis. Thank you.
Lastly, statistical analysis of this research study is carried out, and moreover, ethical is considered throughout the research. For example, informed consent. Participants will read and sign the information sheet and consent form at the beginning of the study. And moreover, privacy and confidentiality. Researcher will ensure that the personal information given by the participant will be kept private and confidential. And lastly, potential benefit and risk. Researcher must ensure that the potential benefit of the participant outweigh the risk and minimize the harm to the participant when it cannot be avoided. Moreover, the strength of this research study is produce finding that did not determine in advance, which means that this study might raise the awareness to the society, especially parents, to pay more attention to their children when their children are exposing to social media or watching television program or advertisement that contain violent content. Allow cause and effect to be determined. This means that researcher can determine the cause and effect relationship between the variable and they have a better understanding to the research study. And the limitation of this study is time consuming, which For experimental study, a researcher need to separate all the variables and conduct finding on it, and it can be lengthy and time consuming. Furthermore, human responses can be difficult to measure, which means that the responses of the participant will be affected by the environment, distraction, or the responses by others. So the result might not be that accurate. And the last limitation of this research study is researcher bias, which means that researcher is difficult to avoid their bias throughout the recording of sample, the process, and the data collection. Thank you.